It's the only thing I know a little bit about. If you want to get into the elite casting, dealing with pressure pots and whatever, you need to talk to Dennis. He's the master. I'm just a rookie starting out.
Andy, pull your mic down just a little bit. Just down. Why? I was yelling in the... Go ahead.
We okay now?
You're perfect.
Okay. So I'm going to be passing my stuff around as I speak to try to keep this as short as possible. Some guys are a little long-winded tonight, and you're not wrong, so. You start out, you go out and buy your polyester resin and your catalyst. If you buy it at Kidder, it comes together, and it's actually cheaper than buying it at Michael's, substantially cheaper. All of my supplies I get from Michael's, Kidder, Woodchuckers, and the dollar store. Oh yeah, the dollar store, if you're going into the sparkles, the cheap dyes, all that stuff works great, and it's a dollar store. First thing you need is molds. I'm the cheap son of a gun, so I make my own out of stuff I have at home. I don't buy anything. This is the first set of molds that I make out of garbage. You can pass that around.
Oh, before you do, let me put that on the screen here. What is it made of, Andy? What is it made out of?
Oh, some hardboard. I have a bunch of that at home, so I use that. The other thing that you can use are the white PVC. And this is some more stuff that I had at home. None of this has cost me a dime so far.
Here, I'll put these up here.
So basically, the issues with casting, it's temperature sensitive. You can't cast in your garage if it's 20 below outside. So when you're OCD like I am, you don't like doing nothing, so you warm up all your stuff in the house, you run out in the garage, mix it all, pour it into your molds, and then bring it back in the house, and listen to your wife bitch for the next 3 days about the order. The other issue you have is with the possibility of bubbles forming in your casting. With polymer resin, I've not had that issue, but you can, and a heat gun or a little blowtorch over top, the top surface will drive those air bubbles out. But like I said, with the polymer resin, I've not had that issue. So this is another one, and the bigger ones are going to be ice cream scoops, handles. I've made a bunch of those. We'll pass that around.
Well, we didn't get that on camera. Is that the finished version? So tape is sufficient there to hold the fluid?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep. So these are, I'm going to pass around a bunch of samples of what they look like after they're out of the mold.
Do you need to cut the mold?
Pardon?
Do you need to cut the mold off?
Oh, those no, you can actually push the items out. After about 4 or 5 times, you need to use a release agent Now you can buy the commercial stuff, which is expensive, or you can use your wife's pan. The vegetable spray works very well. Even WD-40 will work.
And you spray that before you pour the acrylic?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Resin in there?
Yeah, but usually, like I've gotten 4 pours out so far without using release agent. So,
Is that just forced by your thumb or some sort of press or a hammer and a punch?
I use a wooden dowel and just give it one little tap and it just slides right out.
Oh, okay. Cool. I thought you might have to cut it with some.
The square mold, I just take a little pair of pliers and just pop the ends open and it comes right out. And then I use hot melt glue to put it back together.
So you repeat and use those little molds and you just pop them and just put them back together?
Yeah. Now, one piece of advice I was given, you can buy these at woodchuckers and a couple of other places. They have one of these that's 1 inch. And somebody said you can use those, and you can, but you can't. If the stuff that you're casting, like pine cones, when you pour your resin inside, it'll want to kind of set up before it makes it to the bottom. So you end up with a lot of voids. And the stuff is basically useless unless you recut it and reuse it. So I'm not suggesting anybody use this stuff. It was bad advice. And if you notice, some of the stuff that's going around has been cast with buttons. And this is the finished product.
That's amazing.
And those are
Seam rippers. When you make a seam ripper for a person who uses that item, they absolutely love it. And this is a finished ice cream scoop.
That's gorgeous, Andy.
Yes, they got
That is really nice.
Andy, are the buttons from the dollar store too?
Buttons, if anybody here wants buttons, I have buttons. So just see me and I'll supply them. When we're talking buttons, if you separate your buttons by colors and you use all white, all pink, all purple, all green, and you cast clear, that clear casting will actually take on the color of that button and it looks like you dyed it.
Oh, I was gonna ask you if you dyed it.
Well, I do use some dyes, but when I, like this thing here, when you look at it, it's like all clear casting.
What do you do for the bubbles?
A heat gun or a torch, he said.
Usually a torch or a heat gun.
How does light pass through?
Lights. You're gonna have to talk to a scientist on that one, but this is an example of the problem with casting in these tubes.
Now, do these come in kits? Do you get these like this? Seam?
Yes, you get the ends
You get the kits.
and the sleeves, and then you can either buy wood or whatever you want and turn it. And that's a custom made, especially long one. It was requested by a couple of ladies. They didn't like the short 5-inch one.
And you can buy these?
Yes. Woodchuckers or William Woodwright.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I tend to deal primarily with woodchuckers first. If they don't have what I want, then I'll go out.
How's that turn, like, compared to wood? Compared to wood, how does it turn? Like, is it...
I'm not having any issues. I'm a carbide fanatic. Now, a lot of the traditionalists here will hate me for that, but carbide works very, very well. There are no issues.
What's the cost factor, Andy? Like, how much do you think you're saving on that?
I'll show you some of the fence here. With all, if I don't spill as much on the floor as I do in the mold, I'm looking at maybe 50 cents to make a pen, as opposed to 4, 5, 6, 7 bucks.
14, 18.
So
What's the difference between this and epoxy?
with that end,
What's the difference between this and epoxy?
it's the same stuff.
Same stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you polish it with? Micro mesh?
Micro mesh, sandpaper. I'll start probably, depending on how bad it is, probably around 120, and then work my way up, and then micro mesh. And there's no other finish on any of this stuff other than the micro mesh sanding. There's no. And the other thing that you can do aside from straight casting is something called hybrid casting, where you mix a piece of